Yeah.
Welcome back to the Skyriver Cantina. This is part 2 of The Last Jedi, the Last Cantina, as we call it, because there are more Jedi around, and there are going to be more Jedi out and about.
And so there will be more Cantina.
Yeah. Okay, well, first off, Luke has to stop standing next to people, like very close to people when they're sleeping. He's done that with Ben Solo, and he's done that with Rey. Just like staring down at him very closely, and they just wake up and you're like, what the fuck you doing, bro? He has to stop that creepiness. I just want to bring that up because that's not cool. I don't.
Well, I mean, we did talk about how Anakin used to kind of do that with Padme.
So you're just saying the weirdness.
Fathers, yeah, yep. Like father, like son.
God. Yeah, I'm gonna be bringing that up in those movies too. Because Anakin gets weird.
Anakin, is Anakin.
Luke is weird.
Yeah, but Luke's also been hidden away for 20 years at that point, and hasn't had much interaction with anything except the caretakers.
Has it been 20 years?
The caretakers of the island.
Because it looks like he's the same person from when Kylo.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been 20 years. You're right.
I'm thinking more like 5, maybe at max 5.
Probably 10. Because they're like, Kylo is definitely in his mid-20s.
Yeah.
If not getting towards his later 20s. And Rey actually is not as old as Kylo.
They should be around the same age.
I think there's actually a bigger age gap than you think. I think there's a bigger age gap than you think between them.
Well,
I believe she's about 20. I think is what she's supposed to be, is about 20. And Kylo is like 26, 25, 26. I think it's about 10 years that Luke went into hiding. Kylo would have been a teenager when he was in training with Luke. And teenagers are teenagers. And they got their hormones, And so Luke should have just been prepared for Kylo to possibly want to be going dark side, because, it's teenagers.
Okay, well, do you think Luke would have done that? Luke being how Luke is, do you think he would have cut one of his Padawans down?
Well, he didn't.
He was going to.
He thought about it. Then he shut off his light. Well, he was going to shut off his lightsaber.
Yeah, and then Kylo
reacted.
Yeah.
Then Kylo woke up.
I want to say he overreacted. That's fucking Jedi Master standing over your bedside with his lightsaber on.
Yeah,
with the first attempt to kill.
Yeah, but then he could have sensed that he wasn't trying to kill him anymore. But the thing is, with that, no. Actual Luke, no. Luke actually, so in the books, there's a Jedi guy that joins in with Luke, but he actually started off as Sith. And he joined in with Luke to be a spy. And Luke knew from the big jump what he was doing. And Luke attempted, even though he knew he was dark side, Luke attempted to try to turn him to the light. Dude still went dark side and went back to being dark side full on, no issue. But Luke still tried to turn him from the dark to the light.
Yeah, because that's what he does.
Luke is not a person that experiences that fear. Luke is not a person that is the half glass empty. He's not the negative type of person. Luke is always the positive, looking for the good.
Yeah, he is like a peak Jedi, because even if he does become, or a person does become Sith, he's not gonna really, take that to, heart, you know,
He
because he's
doesn't,
like,
yeah.
well, that's your way of life then, and this is
And
mine.
he's going to try to change them from
Yeah.
the dark side.
And he's always going to do that.
That is how Luke is. And so the fact that they had Luke do that at all is completely out of character. And Mark Hamill even objected publicly in interviews that that's not how Luke is.
Yeah.
So you got me saying things and doing things like this. That's not how Luke is. And everybody knows that. Like, Darth Vader, one of the most evil motherfuckers ever. Yes, he still had good in him.
Yeah.
But he still did a whole bunch of evil things. And was horrible. Killed all that stuff. And Luke was the only one who kept trying to save him. Everybody else gave up on him, or everybody else thought he was evil and hated him and wanted him dead. Luke was the only one in that original shit that kept trying to save him. Once he found out it was his father, and he sensed everything when he had that fight with him, he knew that there was a possibility to save him. And Luke's like, I can save him. Luke always will try to save him.
Yeah. That was a huge
So the fact that Luke acted and did any of that shit is wrong. Period. Like, they're fucked up for that.
Oh, another thing I want to talk about is fucking Finn. He wants to just run away from the war. Nobody's letting him just run away. He tried to escape from the First Order, and then he became into the Rebel Alliance, but then he wanted to get away from the Rebel Alliance.
He wasn't trying to run to get away from the battle.
From fucking Rey.
He was trying to get the thing away from the battle because Rey would return to the battle in a trap, basically. And so he was trying to get away from the battle. If that beacon hadn't existed, and Rey wouldn't be trying to return to that beacon, because that's what, she's trying to return to this beacon. If she comes back into this fucking shit, it's horrible. So he's trying to leave to save his friend, not trying to leave because he's a coward. He doesn't want out of the fight. He just wants to make sure his friend doesn't come back into this crap.
Yeah, I get that. That was my bad on my part. I wasn't thinking about that with her until I said it, and we're like, yeah, fucking Rey. Has to be Rey.
It was Rey.
The whole movie is like, fucking Rey. It's like, stop. Alright, the dynamic between Rey and Kylo, between the Force and the way they communicate, I do kind of like how they portrayed that. And how Kylo was actually more invested in this Force thing than her. Because when they met, it was like, can you see, like, stuff around me? Because I only can see you. While she's trying to talk about some other shit, trying to, like, say fuck you or whatnot to him. And he's like, what is this?
Like, yeah, but the thing is he could see her. And he needs to know where she's at. She don't need to know where Kylo Ren's at. He needs to know where Rey's at.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can see you, but I can't see anything around you. Can you see anything around me? He's trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And then
I do kind of like that, though.
Like, he's trying to figure it out because, like, they're talking, but at the same time, he needs to find her, and they got this connection. So and then he got close that one time. That next time he got real close, and then he had the water on his glove. And he's like, okay, so there is a way of figuring this out.
Yeah.
Okay? And so then, like I said, it gets increased in the next one after. Like, big time.
Oh, yeah, I know some parts, like, they
actually,
like, what,
they actually astral project, like, they actually, with their bond, in the next one, they fight with their lightsabers.
Yeah.
Through the Force, she's on the planet, or she's on the ship, he's on the planet, and they fucking fight.
Yeah.
and shit that they affect around them, both can end up seeing.
Yeah, which, I don't know, I think it's kind of cool.
That is kind of cool.
But they can't, like, overdo it as, like, really dramatic. Because they still need, like, a structure to it. Because if they don't have a structure to it, then they could just have fucking anything really go.
They do kind of have that structure. They have to be interacting with themselves, and things that they interact with while they're interacting with themselves, with each other, gets affected. And if it's close enough to their person, like so, like with the water, the water was close enough. The ocean spray was close enough when they were doing that he got some on him because of the proximity. So there is kind of a limit to it. Like, they can't see the surroundings, but things that are affected or by them one way or another in the other surroundings that are in the certain proximity to them can be crossed over and seen and exist through the force on the other side.
Yeah.
So Disney did have a structure to it. And they are able to pass things back and forth through that force bond. Like, literally pass things.
Yeah, I've seen them fighting with, I think, like, just one lightsaber, and they just been passing it back and forth. Or I could just be thinking about it differently. It's been a while since I've seen that movie.
But they can, and they do have a structure to it. So Disney didn't go too crazy with it.
Okay.
But it was kind of a cool thing, I guess. But I mean, all the rest, like the few cool things that are in the fucking movie get ruined by all the rest of the crap.
Yeah. It happens to a lot of this. Okay, while this is happening, and even when they're talking, why doesn't she ask Luke, why doesn't she question it to Luke? Why doesn't she bring it up to Luke at all? If he's supposed to have all the answers and supposed to know shit, shouldn't she invite that questioning? Like, yeah, I'm seeing Kylo through this force, whatever. If she wants to be taught, wouldn't she go to the teacher for the question?
I mean, I would think so.
Instead of just, like,
and then
hiding
Luke just appeared, like, he knew something was going on. Luke could feel something going on, and he was like, Ray, and he come out and he ran over there, and he opens up the door.
Because she shot her hut thing.
Mm-hmm. That was the first time that they had the bond.
Yeah, the second time, I think they were holding the hands when he was there.
Because that was the first time they had the bond. Then the second time they had the bond was with the spray, the water getting on the glove.
Yeah.
And then they had the one where they were sitting there talking. And I think they had one other one, but when they were sitting there talking, and then they touched fingers. And Luke shows up at that point, and he sees both. He sees both.
Yeah.
And he's like, you need to leave.
How that was cut was very weird to me. And how that scene was cut of them holding or touching hands. Because they weren't really touching hands like normal people would touch hands. They were just like kind of gliding.
The fingertips to each other.
Yeah.
They did just the tips, homie. Nothing bad can ever happen from just the tips, right?
A lot. That's where all the bad stuff comes from. Well, not comes from, but escapes.
I mean, just the tips.
Still not good. What was I gonna say? I have no idea. Totally lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, okay. When Luke is teaching Rey about the Force, and he says, "Close your eyes," and then reach out, and then she actually reaches out. I think that's pretty funny because
that was.
She doesn't know anything about the Force. It's like, yeah, reach out, okay.
And then he could. I wouldn't have been able to help it either. I would not have been able to help it either. He was like, really? And so he's like,
Yeah.
he's like, oh yeah, I can feel it. Yo, you can feel it and everything. Yeah. And then he's like, smacks.
Do you think that would...
And then she was like, you meant reach. And he's like, yeah.
Do you think Luke would have done that, though?
I mean, you seen how Yoda did shit kind of like that to Luke.
I'm just kind of remembering, like, the Grogu scene with Luke. Because Luke trains Grogu for a little bit of time. And that's kind of, like, after 6 and kind of leading up to this point. No, not really. Because that's still, like, a huge age gap. But I don't know, she doesn't know stuff about the Force, though. Because she did use that Jedi mind trick in the first movie. Even if she knows nothing about it.
So, yeah, she knows, but she didn't...
She
instinctively, as a human, just reached out her hand.
No,
because so far, everything, for the most part, has been with hand for her. Except for, like, the moment when her hands were trapped and she fucking Jedi mind tricked the guy.
Well, she was telling Luke, like, what she knew about the Force. And she's like, I don't know much. You just move stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And that's it. It's like...
yeah, she's like, you can move stuff with it. She said, like, 3 things that you could do with the Force. It's a power that the Jedi have. They can move things with it and manipulate people's minds or some other thing like that. And he's like, everything you just said right now is wrong.
Yeah, wrong.
It's just like, what? And then he takes her over there and does a little sit and meditate. She reached out with her hand. And then she reaches out with the Force. He's like, okay, now. You feel that thing in between all of it? All the life? And she's like, yeah. He's like, what is that? That's the Force. Everything has the Force.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I sense something dark. And he's like, yes, this is the balance. You got the good and the dark.
And that did kind of, like, pull her in there.
Yeah, and she didn't even try to resist, and that's what Luke was like, I'm done.
Which he's been, like, back and forth on this movie of, like, teaching her and not teaching her. It's just, like, fucking teach her or don't teach her. When she's using the lightsaber with the rock. One, that just seems very funny to me because she doesn't know any lightsaber stances. So if you just took away the music, it's just her swinging a lightsaber and she doesn't know what she's doing.
Yeah, she's trying to learn, like...
Yeah, she's trying to, but...
And on her own, because Luke's not. So she's trying to kind of use some of the... So she was using her staff. And practicing with her staff. Okay, and then she was just like... She does know some martial training.
She knows how to fight.
So then she's trying to figure out how she should fight with a lightsaber instead. That's what she's doing.
Do you think she'll get a double lightsaber? Just because she has a staff. She's more accustomed to using the staff, so if she does make her own lightsaber, hopefully she does at some point. Hopefully she doesn't keep fucking Luke's lightsaber. Or do you think it'll be double-bladed?
At the end of Rise of Skywalker, I do believe that one-handed lightsaber she had in her hand looked like that it possibly could shoot another blade out the other side as well. But that's on a one-handed grip. So I'm curious on how they're going to make that work. Because if that's true, that is liable to stab yourself. Because you got one hand and you're swinging down. It's when you have a one-handed weapon, you will move your arm and hand differently than if you have a two-handed weapon. Yeah. Two-handed weapon, that back end is controlled different. No matter what. Even like if you got a two-handed sword. you'll do certain attacks certain ways that are a different stance than a one-handed. So if you have double-bladed sword that's a one-handed sword and not a two-handed sword, you have to be careful because you're liable to stab yourself as easily as to stab somebody else.
Because you're dealing with two sabers.
On one hand, which is awkward.
Well, Cal Kestis had a lightsaber and it was broken in half, so he was only using the one.
Yeah, but then eventually he got his other... Eventually you find the other half.
Yeah, you could modify it to get the other half.
And you put the other half, and then when he puts the other half, he has his full...
Maybe she only has one half of a lightsaber.
It looked like it was set up full.
Like it was fully done?
Yeah, but it was like the regular size of a regular lightsaber handle instead of like the size of a double lightsaber handle. So, she only ignited one end, so it could just be a one-ended lightsaber still and just look that way.
Well, I did see some concept art where the hilt of the lightsaber can sandwich out, so it will be like one blade, but then it will rotate down to become like a full-length hilt for double-bladed.
Well, yeah, she had... That's next movie.
Yeah, that's next movie. Sorry, we're getting ahead of ourselves. What else do I have? Okay, Rose and Finn, their whole side quest, nothing to do with the story at all. Literally everything they did, they left. They parked on a beach. The guy told them not to park there, so they could have just got in their ship, went to a parking spot, parked there. Everything would have been fine. They wouldn't have been held up by authority or any of that. They would have found the guy if he would have helped them or not. I don't know. But they could have done that, first off. 2, what was the second one? It was right after that. They go to the planet, and then they get caught by this guy that is asking them for help. Or no, he's telling them that he can help them. They're like, nah, you're a bad guy. We don't want any part of this. And they just turn directly to their bed, so like their eyesight is like directly on the bed frame, so they're just looking at a metal piece that's a couple inches to like an inch from their face. That's not important, but that's just...
They're doing that because they don't want to have any interaction with the guy. That's all it is.
Yeah, but like...
They're just turning away from him to not have any interaction with him because he seems creepy to them.
Yeah, but it's like me not wanting to talk to you, so I'm just going to stand in the corner.
But they started to get on the bunk. Because they did that, and he said something to him, and then they kind of turned back around and talked to him real quick, and then they turned back around, and then they both got onto the bunk. And then he got up, and he got his little thing that he was doing, and he went over there, and he stuck it in the dang lock and unlocked the cell, and they're like, what the fuck? And then he's like, doo-doo-doo, and he takes off. And then they go the opposite way of the guy that just unlocked the cell with a frickin' card.
Yeah.
I would have went with the dude that just unlocked the cell.
They don't like bad guys.
Apparently, and he really wasn't that bad of a guy. I mean,
yeah.
He kind of was, but kind of what?
Yeah, but honestly, if you're in that situation, just like set aside your differences, escape, and then you guys could just do whatever the fuck you want at the end of that. You know?
Yeah.
They're just...
Then they ran into the kids.
Yeah, the slaves.
And then they used the animals to get out.
And then they free the animals, but left the slave kids.
And then they go to run to the ship, and then the ship gets shot. And
yeah, why would they run to the ship? Why? Because they already...
They don't have the guy that they need.
Oh, and the guy, or that was shooting that shot the ship, why isn't he continuously shooting them? If he has a gun, he shot the ship. Why ain't they shooting?
Well, they're trying to capture him, not kill him. So he shot the ship.
Okay, well,
yeah, because they're law enforcement, and technically they haven't actually they've destroyed some stuff, but they haven't actually physically attacked anybody with intent to kill. So technically they're just felons on the run. And they don't have any weapons, and they're they're cops. They're not fucking, they're, like soldiers or something in a battle. They're cops, so they're trying to apprehend.
Okay, I can still...
So then they're trying to get to the vehicle. We'll shoot the vehicle, and the vehicle won't fly, and they can't get. Then that takes away their escape route, and so then all we have to do is then just capture them again.
Well, they shouldn't have went like a straight line to their ship if they have that much heat on them to begin with.
They always run straight to the ship when they got that much heat on them.
Sometimes,
it's just the heat this time. Just the heat this time said, you know what? No ship.
Yeah, but tactically, you don't want the people to know where you're going or where your ship's at.
I want to know why the ship was still there.
Oh, well,
because they already had the law enforcement out there at the ship investigating the ship. They've had them locked up for don't know exactly how long, but at least for a little while. Why didn't the law enforcement already have the ship removed from the beach?
Yeah, that's true. That should have been gone.
It should have been at we'll just say the spaceport impound already, or on its way.
Yeah, it should have been picked up at least.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been there still for them to get.
So
they would have came to me, and my thing is they would have came to there and be like, well, where the fuck's your ship? Well, you dumb idiots, you got arrested for parking it on the beach. Obviously, it's impounded.
Yeah, it's towed, dude.
So now you got to go figure something else out.
Well, and also, when they reach the cliff, why do the cops just stop following them?
They didn't stop following them. They went into that tall grass stuff.
Yeah, but it wasn't that
it was
tall
hard.
Grass.
It was tall enough that even with the creature and them on top of it, that it was still at head height or a little bit taller than them. So in the dark, it's easy for them to be able to go any direction in that.
They don't got spotlights?
They were using their spotlights, but they got off. They got off and out of the spotlight long enough that they created that small amount of gap of time that was needed. So now they're trying to look, and it's at night. And so they're trying to look at night with the spotlight. The spotlight only lights up so much. Technically, how we get to see it on film, they got to have enough light for us to see it on film. It would have been actually much darker than that in actual, real life. It would have been much darker than that. So then they got into the bushes, and they're in a ship. They can't fucking hear it where the bushes are sounding. They can't hear the bushes rustling. So all they can do is search with the lights. So they basically, once they lose actual track of where they went, they could have been going that way, and so I bring up my light to go that way, the way they were going, but between the point of from here to here, they turned left, and now they're over here 50 feet, and I'm going up here 100 feet looking, and now they're 200 feet away that way, because it's in the dark.
Yeah.
And so then, okay, well maybe they went this way, and now they bobbed and weaved that way. You get what I'm saying? Once you get into something like that, it's actually not that easy to find them. So they would have been found, because the police would have just kept doing a search pattern over that until they got to the cliff, and then they would have found them on the edge of the cliff. But then the dude showed up with the ship. Oh, hey, there they are. I was beacon.
Yeah.
By that point, they were dusting out anyway.
That guy named is DJ, and that stands for Don't Join. His name is Don't Join, DJ.
Yeah.
And he's flying with BB-8. Okay, when Rey and Kylo, when they're doing the whole Force thing, why does she get so upset that he has his shirt off For one, when you're looking at the scene, what if he's doing like something like jacking off? He's like, and she's like, "Oh, I really don't want to do this right now." And he's like, "Yeah, me neither." What if he just under the covers like, "This is terrible timing right now. Don't turn around. Give me a few." Like, how does the Force thing work? Do they just...
It's random. But Snoke's the one that bound him. So Snoke probably fucking...
So you could just be taking a shit?
Snoke could have been sparking that every time, and we wouldn't have known that Snoke was sparking it until that point. But it's kind of like random moment kind of thing.
Yeah, but like, if you're taking a shit and then she appears, it's like, that's terrible timing.
I mean, it would be.
Yeah, it would
but
be.
It didn't happen.
It should have happened at least once. Just one terrible timing moment, you know?
I would have...
Like him just sitting there, just picking his nose and eating this, like, oh shit, I didn't even see you there. You know, just some weird shit.
She's like, well, I really would... And like, he's like, I don't want to be doing this either. Like, she's talking to him like it's his fault.
Yeah.
Like, he's doing it. He's like, he's just as puzzled by it as she is, but she don't really... but she's not trying to figure out what's happening and how it works.
Yeah, she's more...
He is.
Yeah.
She's just emotionally angry as fuck with him and just blah, 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 blah. And he's intruding on her mental space. And, like, you're intruding on his mental space just as much as he is on yours. He doesn't want that any more than you do. But he realizes that while I'm not exactly wanting this, it is an opportunity.
Yeah.
And so he decides to capitalize on it.
He gets a little creepiness from his fucking grandpa, though. Fucking Darth Vader. Well, Anakin. I don't think Darth Vader was creepy. Oh, the Mirror Force thing with Rey when she touched the glass.
Yeah, and then she was supposed to get her fucking premonition and they didn't give her shit.
Yeah, well, one, I didn't understand like the monologue, the over-top voice. You know, it's like, I wasn't scared, but I should be. But, like, I knew what was going on. Like,
yeah, who the fuck was she talking to? Like, because she didn't do... It wasn't like an after-effect thing, like she's sitting there talking to Luke about it.
Yeah. It was just, like, for us, as it was a book, and this was the only time in the movie, in all three movies, I'm thinking...
If it was a fourth wall break to talk to us about it, it was a horrible one.
Yeah, I did not get that at all.
Like... Disney, you need to check out Deadpool. But he knows how to break the fourth wall and do it spectacularly.
Yeah. Well, the fucking gives us who Rey's parents are. It's her.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah. That's kind of interesting. She made herself.
Yeah.
She's like, show me my parents.
Like, even like the dark side, like when you go and you're doing the seeky things like Jedi do, and the Force reveals stuff to you, even the dark side still reveals things to you.
Are they always going to reveal, like, your face? Because it happened with Luke, and now it happens to Rey. Like, oh, the bad thing you're
the only thing
is you.
To me, it was they were trying to do
like
what they did with Luke. Yeah. Except that Vader was Luke's father.
Yeah,
and so it made sense. But supposed to be Palpatine is her grandpappy. But it don't make any sense to show her face in the mirror as what she's trying to seek for. Because Luke wasn't seeking as Vader as being his father. Luke was just facing his nemesis. And then it tries to reveal to him that if you do not do this correctly, you will turn into Vader.
Yeah.
Okay? There's no reference to Palpatine or anybody else other than her. So, if she's going to turn into her, and it's just her, like...
Yeah, and
it's the dark side. The dark side, it's not the light side thing, it's the dark side thing. So the dark side would want to try to show her her in the dark side, at least.
Yeah. Fucking
like,
something.
This is you, powerful and strong, but it didn't. It didn't do it. It just showed her normal, like she was just looking at a fucking mirror.
Yeah.
There was no point to that. Really, there wasn't. There was no point at all to that. It was a waste of, 5 minutes, 6 minutes of the fucking movie.
Yeah, but also the Finn and Rose thing didn't go anywhere at all. Cause they still...
Well, no, they did get the master code breaker they needed to be able to get into the starship.
Yeah, but that didn't work because
they got in.
Yeah, they got in, but then
and
they got held up. Yeah, they got to the thing, but then Phasma was there. So, the fuck are you guys doing? And then they almost got decapitated in the fucking hangar bay.
But then BB-8 got him out of it.
Yeah, which how the fuck did he do that?
He hacked the walker.
This is the robot that can do everything, I guess.
I mean, R2 could hack a walker.
I'm not sure. I would have seen him hack a walker.
R2 can hack a walker.
Yeah, he probably can.
He can actually fly a starship and shoot the guns. A droid can fly a starship and shoot the guns just the same as a human on it. So then why can't BB-8 get into a fucking
R2
walker?
R2 has the compatibility.
So yeah,
BB-8 doesn't have that.
BB-8 has his little fucking things too.
No,
he has his little arms that pop out.
Yeah, he has arms and stuff to be moving stuff, but he doesn't have the. What should I say?
The old school little deal that R2 sticks into the little round thing.
They might have new dealios because of how time works.
Yeah, I mean, he just did what R2 would have done.
I don't know. I haven't seen R2 really do all much on that. I know he'll R2 has the taser and he has compartments in him. He has an arm.
Look, droids. It has been shown in stuff that droids can fly a ship and shoot the guns.
Yeah, they can. I know that.
So then, BB-8, being a way upgraded version of an astromech kind of droid, shouldn't have any problem with getting into a walker and activating it and using it. I thought it was rather strange, though, that it could rip the top of the walker, the armor plating off.
Oh, no, that was just getting held up by the things because I guess the robot didn't release the...
But it ripped off the cockpit, the armor plating that's welded and bolted. It ripped that off and kept upright and walked forward with just BB-8 on a platform with a couple of wires sparking it to do what he wants it to do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How the fuck did that happen?
That part is the part that's not feasible because of that. That shouldn't work after that. It got ripped up like that. It should no longer work.
Well, yeah, if he was in the cockpit,
activating it and running it.
If he was in the cockpit and if he was doing some robot shit with it, I would have been fine with that. But he was sparking shit to make it walk, and the top was off.
Yeah,
it didn't make any fucking sense to me.
No, not after the arm. When he first kicked it on, yes, and started shooting when he first kicked it on. But the moment that the armor, the head got ripped off, and it's the platform and guns, and all he's got left is a few wires because everything else is ripped off. Then I have an issue with it because now he's just hot wiring each leg.
Yeah, I guess that's what he's doing.
And then hot wiring it another way to shoot the blasters, and somehow managing to make the blasters turn still. And that's stupid. The part of him actually hijacking it to begin with is legit.
also don't see how the whole top could just come off and the
That's
bottom
what
could stay there.
That's what I was
But
saying.
the bottom wasn't even... The floor was gone, too.
Yeah.
It was like the whole box of the top.
The cab got ripped off. All the computer stuff and everything that's in the cab that makes the damn walker function in the first place.
Well, like, if that got ripped off, he would have gotten ripped off with it. Because he was in the room, unless he kind of, like, found a ripped spot. It's like, I got to say on it. I don't know.
Disney.
Fucking ruins shit all the time.
But the original hacking of it, he could do. After that, with the whole thing coming apart, that was not... I don't know. I don't even know why they did that. Like, there was no point to them doing that.
Well, it's a BB-8, I guess.
They could have camera angled in.
Well, then people inside want to know, or the
So people outside don't need to know that who the fuck is in control of the walker at that moment, blasting the stormtroopers. Yeah. They don't need to know. They just need to know that that thing is on our side and it's saving our ass. So we're gonna work with that thing. Well, and then after everything gets shot to shit, then BB-8 fucking bleeps and squeaks out of the little window down at him. And they're like, oh, it's BB-8, woo! But that's not how it went down.
Well, they were very biased against the DJ guy. So
well, DJ guy...
Like, oh, even if you're the Empire,
sold him out.
You know? Yeah. But
he also would sell out the Empire, like, he would sell out the First Order to the highest bidder, too.
They also didn't like him at the beginning.
No.
When they were first talking in the show.
And he doesn't care if they like him or don't like him. He's just doing his thing.
He's just doing his own fucking thing. He doesn't give a fuck.
Highest bidder wins. He's kind of like a bounty hunter on that one. Highest bidder wins.
Yeah. Oh, what do you think about Yoda striking down the Jedi texts? The sacred Jedi texts.
He didn't burn them up.
Yeah, he did. He struck them down with lightning.
He didn't burn them up. Ray already took them.
Oh.
You see him in the Millennium Falcon at the end of the movie. Finn opens the drawer and pulls something out for somebody to use for something, and the texts are already in there.
When?
At the end of the movie.
In this movie?
Yeah. At the end of The Last Jedi, when they're all on the Falcon, at the end of the movie, and they're all flying away from the Salt Planet.
Oh. I just totally spaced
Finn opens the drawer. Yeah. When he opens the drawer to pull something else out for, like a blanket or towel or some other thing, I don't remember what, but he pulls something out for somebody, and there's all the books in the drawer in the Falcon.
Huh.
And Yoda probably knew that. Luke didn't, because Luke hadn't entered.
Yeah.
But the texts were already gone. Rey took them and had them with her in the Falcon. That's why Yoda said that she's the one that's going to pass it on and everything anyway, because she had it all. He just didn't tell Luke that you were just burning down an empty tree, bro.
Well, Obi-Wan was kind of like that too. Like, he didn't tell him everything, he just told him pieces of shit.
We gotta get to this bunker scene on the Salt Planet.
Oh, look! We still got so much.
No, I gotta get this out before we end this. We're already at 43 minutes in.
Hold on. Well, that's not important. The Phasma being alive. I don't know how she's still alive if she got...
They didn't kick on the compactor is all. Because they don't actually show them putting her in the trash compactor
Fucking
and kicking it on.
But, you know, I'm more of a bad guy.
But she did end up dying, and she fought Finn. And he's got electro staff, and she's got metal armor, and it's not affecting her at all. And then all of a sudden, he smacks her in the face. He smacks her hard in the face of her helmet, and then it breaks her helmet. Doesn't scratch anything on her armor the whole time.
Yeah, she falls.
And then he smacks her in the face on her helmet, and it busts the eye and busts up scratches up the helmet. Like, that's something that's really inconsistent with the armors in Star Wars.
It was blaster proof. Like, Rose shot, and you can
it was like
bullet.
It was literally blaster-proof armor.
But there's a huge gap.
But now he smacks her with the electro staff at the end of that fight, right in the fucking helmet. And it breaks her fucking helmet. Okay, well, then I guess you should have shot her in the eyeball because it would have went right through.
Oh, Hawk's bitch slapping Finn before they get almost decapitated.
Oh,
He just.
Well,
it's really funny. I just thought it was a really funny scene.
Well, technically, Rose is a traitor, but she wasn't part of the Empire, like military. Finn was, and he was a legit full traitor.
Yeah.
So he got smacked.
He got hella bitch slapped, like hard. Like he pulled back and went like. It looked like it hurt. I just thought that was really funny.
I thought the Hux getting force bitch slapped by Kylo was way funnier.
And then Rose saving Finn from going into the thing.
Oh, yes, now we're finally going to go to the salt planet.
And also, they should, like, the glass. How strong is that glass on the speeder, whatever the fuck they're... I should have looked that up.
Technically, it's probably transparent steel.
Yeah, but like...
Because technically the glass and all the glass that you see in Star Wars is technically transparent steel. Transparent steel. They figured out a way of making steel transparent so you can see through it like glass.
Yeah, but when Finn was driving it into it, you can see the guns bending from the Force.
Oh yeah, no, the whole ship's starting to fall apart.
Yeah, but the glass? How is that staying glass?
Well, check it out, dude.
Shouldn't that break?
Transparent steel on a cockpit can survive re-entry into the atmosphere.
But
that's what's on their cockpits. Their cockpits of their starfighters. When they come back into the atmosphere, they actually do a re-entry burn, just like our shuttle does.
Yeah, but then the shit would have been fine. Like, why is the?
Because it wasn't all that fine. Those other things weren't all that fine anymore. Them ships weren't all that great. She probably would have completely fell apart before he ever got to it. But on the fact of Rose saving Finn, this whole fight is absolutely retarded and stupid to even be happening the way it did. For one. Two, those speeders all can go the same speed.
Yeah.
Okay? They can all go the same speed. One, why do they even need to have a ski on the ground to begin with to do anything?
For like the balance or whatnot.
Why? Why don't you just make a speeder that flies like it's supposed to?
Well, for one...
No, it's dumb.
That probably goes to like to do something else. Like the ship, like main purpose is probably for something else.
As per everything Rebel Alliance, fucking they always repurpose everything.
Yeah.
So
in the heat of the moment, you know.
But the thing is it's still just dumb to have that. Why not just have? I mean, you have it where it can fly like a speeder, but it don't fly very well, and then you kick down this little ski that skims the ground, and then all of a sudden it stabilizes. Why can't you just make it stabilize from the get-go?
Yeah. And honestly, wouldn't it be...
They got speeders of every freaking shape.
Like, wouldn't they have more, like, turbulence with a thing in the ground instead of it just hovering above the ground?
I would think so.
Because, like, you're hovering above the ground, so there's no
I would think that
friction.
I would think it would be better to just not have any contact.
But if you got, like, a needle in the ground, yeah, you're going to be shaking like you got a flat tire.
That's why I said it don't make any sense. It shouldn't even be there. Two, the speeders all go the same speed. Poe calls everybody back. She don't go back, but Finn was way ahead of everybody anyway. And so then how does she, and this is something that other people have said too, how did she not only catch up to Finn, but catch up to Finn over here and be ahead of him enough that she could turn and come in and meet him where she met him And so she had to go faster than he did by a lot to be able to get ahead of him to make that turn, so that way by the time he got there, she would be in line to smack him out of the line of fire.
Well, that's just another impossible...
It's not... There's no possible way that she could have saved him. Two, I don't feel like either one of them would have survived that fucking accident.
Oh, yeah, I even have that. They should have both been dead. From how the ships fell apart, and they were old ships, they should have been dead.
I feel like they should have died for that. But they didn't. Plot armor.
Yeah, at least Rose, I thought, was gonna die. It's like, okay, at least somebody died from this. No, she's alive. Yep. Nothing bad happens.
Yep.
This is just a fun game, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't like it because then I want them to take things seriously instead of just like fucking around and having fun, you know? Like, take some shit serious so like it can make the whole thing better.
Yeah, because if you have the consequences of that they can actually die, then...
Yeah, it raises the stakes a lot more. You're going to care about them a lot more.
Yeah, if every time something bad happens, they still end up surviving.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, who did we really lose? Who did we really lose that mattered in the story by this point in the story?
Yeah, because you're not
Han Solo is the only one we lost that actually mattered. We've lost other people, but we have no connection to those people because they're just extras in the movie that are supposed to die.
Yeah.
You know, starfighter pilots, captains on ships, all that. We have no attachments to them. You know, they're just extra people in the movie that gotta die.
Which I don't know why fucking Qui-Gon died when they have all this other technology from everybody getting stabbed. But
everybody else could get stabbed other than Qui-Gon.
Yeah, no, they get fixed up with like a whole robot section. It's like fucking Qui-Gon, just one stab, fucking dies.
Yep.
And he doesn't turn into a ghost.
He does.
No, or yeah, he does, but like his body doesn't disappear. Like Yoda and Obi-Wan and Luke.
Well, you notice how he didn't start actually communicating through the Force right away? He was working on it, but he hadn't perfected it quite yet. So he did do it.
Well, in the
but it took a while for him to actually join in with the Force the way he was supposed to. And then by that point, he started talking to Yoda through the meditations and things, and was able to teach Yoda, and Yoda taught Obi-Wan, and bam. Okay, now, back to this. So now we got some battering rams specifically designed to batter ram down a massive door. Boy, the Empire has I'll just call them the Empire. The First Order just has a solution for everything with no problem. And they got the battering ram on the ship. They're just equipped with the battering ram.
The battering ram is
on the ship.
The laser thing?
Yep, to use as a battering ram to blast down huge blast doors. Why do they gotta just lugging it around? Like, that's not standard equipment. That's if you're going somewhere specifically, you load that huge-ass thing in.
And couldn't they just blow that shit from space? Because isn't it on their, one of their mega ships?
I mean, they have a Star Destroyer. They literally could just blast the dang thing to rubble. Quite literally, they could just sit there and shoot at the base until they blow the mountain down enough that they actually collapse the mountain in on itself. Because the rock is still rock, and turbo lasers can destroy it.
Yeah.
So, but my thing with that is okay, so we got them in the skimmer speeders, which make no fucking sense. We got Rose being able to catch up and take out Finn in the skimmer speeders, which also makes no fucking sense. We got the TIE fighters attacking them, okay? Originally, we got the TIE before Finn and everything with Rose. We got TIE fighters attacking them. They got no way in hell of defeating that. Then the Falcon pops in, perfect timing, as always, as that ship should always be, on perfect timing. Might not always work when you want her to, but when she's supposed to, she'll be there every time. Show up, obviously, they want to get that ship. So Kylo Ren's like, because that was Dad's ship too. So Kylo Ren's like, so he sends them off after that. Then he force bitch slaps Hux, which I love. And we didn't even get to the Snoke thing in the deal, but whatever. So all of that's going on. Really then Luke just walks out, and he has that moment with Leia where, and Leia didn't really notice that he was just a projection. And then he gets out there, and then Kylo figures out in their duel that Luke's just a projection, and he's not actually there. Luke Skywalker dies because he's tired.
Yeah, he's not... He's not that old. He's in pretty good health, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
he just says, I don't want to do this no more, just goes away.
He's exhausted as fuck, and then he gets up and he looks okay, and from doing the astral projection through the Force, and looks okay and everything, does his final little deals, and dies. Cool. Like, not cool, what the fuck? Like, he wasn't as bad off as Yoda was, so I don't understand. He Yoda'd out, though. He dissipated himself out of it. He was done.
He's like, Kylo Ren is your guys' problem now.
Yep, peace out. Okay, then let's skip to when Rey's captured. They got her there, and with Snoke, Ren decides to kill Snoke.
Yeah,
and he manages to pull it off.
I don't know how he fucking did.
Because he just kept looking at Rey and imagining the lightsaber. And he kept his light, so he turns the lightsaber. He's like focusing on that he's turning the lightsaber down to kick it on to kill his true enemy. And he's making sure that Snoke doesn't see what that true enemy is. And he turns that lightsaber, then he turns it on, and it kills Snoke. And then they fight fight together to kill the stuff. And then Ren tries to still turn Rey to the dark side. But now it's, we will rule, we'll get rid of all the old crap, and we'll start a whole new thing. And honestly, could have probably maybe had a decent level of actual success of being able to use the platform they had and then turn it less evil to a more normal kind of fucking thing.
Well, I think they could have had it from, like, him just being bad and her being good, but they're just still...
They balance it out.
Yeah, they're, like, still friends, and they're still just doing their the shit, but they're separate ways.
And they could have balanced it out.
Yeah.
And had the balance of the dark side and the light side together ruling. They could have done that.
Yeah.
But, whatever. That's not how it's got to be.
Do you think Kylo Ren had that much, like, focus to do that, though? To, like...
I mean, Rey's life was on the line, man.
Yeah, but that's fucking Snoke.
Yeah, but Rey's life was... Look, Vader fucking turned on Palpatine.
Yeah, but he still basically died from it.
And but that's only because the lightning fucked up his suit.
And it wasn't really a Force thing. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, if Vader tried to do the same thing for Palpatine, Palpatine is like, would be like, what are you doing, man? I can feel this shit around me.
But he couldn't feel Vader. He couldn't sense Vader turned on him. Just like Snoke, and you told me Snoke's supposed to be a clone of fucking Palpatine.
Yeah.
So Snoke couldn't sense that he did get resolve. He just didn't know what the resolve was. Because you also got to remember, Kylo is also able to reach into people's minds, and so he knows. He knows how to defend against that. And Snoke was arrogant and thought that he knew everything about it, and he didn't. Kylo knows how that works, and he goes, okay, if I'm going to do this, I have to think a certain way about this to pull it off, or he's going to get a whiff of it, and it's over. And so he took a big chance, but he took out Snoke.
Maybe. I don't think that's how that.
But then he became the supreme leader, and I love that he started force choking that dude like Vader would have. Because Hux is like, he's dead, the supreme leader's dead. And he's like, he whips around, he's like, force choking. He's like, supreme leader. Like, then he's like, oh shit, like, no, he's not. Kylo Ren is now the supreme leader.
Yeah. Alright, well, we're gonna wrap it up for this episode. We'll catch you back next time.